right on his heels. One cat gives a little bump. Sakuda still with it. Sakua. Now Flanagan. Into the middle, Carranza. One touch gets it back. Carranza. For Campbell. Campbell attempting to switch field to the opposite side. A little bit too far for Edison Guérin. He'll have to battle with Dante Morissette, and this is won by Morissette as it's out off of Guérin. Unable to be cleared as of yet by Toronto. And now Akinola is able to push through. Needs some support, does not have it, and he's taken down from behind by Carranza. Clean challenge, says the referee. And it comes looking for Zakua, and he's not able to corral it. And it will be a Toronto throw taken by Giovatulli. Procopio. Fouled there by Andrew Nicholas. Thomas. Morissette just past the midfield stripe. Akinola. Coming together with Nicholas. DC working with Flanagan. Zakua. Able to get around Fatuli. Now one touch gets it back from Chiritos. And this will be sent out for a throw-in for DC off the foot of Giovatulli. Flanagan delivers it in, and that one is out off of Chiritos and will be a Toronto throw-in. Nicholas into the middle of the field. There's Guérin. Carranza. Nicholas. Durkin. Back for Campbell. Trying to push this forward for Chiritos, but it's headed up by Chela. Akinola. Caracciolo. And interrupted by DC and pushed down into Toronto territory, forcing Dante Morissette back. And all the way back for Brogan Ingbers. Slowing the pace down a little bit here is Justin Thomas. Caracciolo, one touch. Push forward for Akinola. Io Akinola is able to win another free, or a throw-in rather, for Toronto. Procopio. Now Thomas. Nice little pass there from one cat, finds Akinola. Akinola looking for a shot, it appears. He is surrounded by black jerseys, and it will be Jose Carranza who pushes it forward. Now Chiritos looking for Zakua on this left side, fails to connect. One cat. And that is out off Casimir Zakua. We are halfway through this opening half, 20 minutes played here in Toronto, and the hosts leading DC United by a score of 1-0. Thomas through the middle and back. Procopio. Procopio through the middle. Akinola. Little touch for Mandikic. On the right side from one cat as Fatuli with him. We'll take it in the middle. Another one touch for Mandikic. And there's an opportunity there for Kagramanian, but he has it poked off his foot. Mandikic, Procopio. They are dispossessed there by Andrew Nicholas, and it will be DC trying to scramble out of their own territory. Campbell, Chiritos, headed forward by Chela. Flying through the middle there was Nicholas. Morissette. Kagramanian. There's Caracilla, Kagramanian, and Procopio. That is intercepted by Flanagan, and a little bit of miscommunication there with Chiritos, and Toronto has it once more. Ball won there by Edison Guérin. Trying to work through two Toronto defenders, still with it. It's poked forward, and a good diving play there from Engbers, able to take the ball off the foot of Chiritos. And Toronto with an opportunity to clear, and that will be deflected out off of Chandler Vaughn. One of the better scoring opportunities once again for DC comes from Alexis Chiritos. But a good bit of goaltending there from Brogan Engbers. This is out, and it was last touch Toronto. Pulled down by Zakua. Thrown in by Flanagan. Campbell. Edwards. Michael Edwards on the right side for Vaughn. Vaughn trying to work through. Durkin and some help from Nicholas. Push forward up the right side. Nobody there for DC. And that will give Toronto plenty of time to regroup, repossess, and push forward with Dante Morissette. Given away at midfield. Intercepted by Durkin. Carranza unable to corral that. Good play by Flanagan to win it back for DC. Push up the left side for Zakua. Zakua working his way in. His pass for Chiritos was deflected. Rolls right on to Engbers. And now he will be able to scoop it up with the hands. And roll it forward for Thomas. Mandikic has to fight off Durkin. Midfield Akinola. It's pushed back by DC. There's Chiritos. Chiritos working against Thomas, gets the right foot out, disrupts, and starts a counter for Toronto. Akinola pulled down there. Referee says play on. Flanagan steps up to intercept. Flanagan working forward. He's into the penalty area. Flanagan with a strike. It's deflected off of Clady Chela. That will go out for the first corner kick of the afternoon, and this will go to DC. They've been doing a better job in midfield of neutralizing Toronto's play, but the play in the attacking third just has not really been there for DC just yet. This is swung in, headed down, and taken easily by Engbers. Justin Thomas. Now Engbers. Thomas. Disrupted in midfield and taken by Carranza. That's stolen back by Toronto. Carranza with an attempt to get it back for DC. Toronto will maintain. Anshon Kagramanian. Again, Kagramanian. Morissette. Thomas. Procopio. Again, Thomas. There's Caracciolo. Akinola. Akinola trying to work to the middle. Akinola still holding. Now One Cat. One Cat is through. One Cat will deliver a strike, and it is curled wide of the post. Second shot for Glenn One Cat, and it is off target as well. And we're going to see the first substitution for Toronto. Michael Procopio will be coming out. Kota Sakurai will enter for Toronto. So the afternoon is over for Michael Procopio. Zakua brings this down. One Cat there to dispossess with some help from Sakurai, but DC is able to get it back. Campbell, Edwards. Vaughn, right side Chiritos. Sakurai will take over for Toronto. Thomas. Stepping up is Vaughn to intercept that pass. There's Chiritos. He's onside, working against a pair of defenders. One falls. Excellent save by Engbers. Opportunity there for Chiritos created by Clay Cella, taking a tumble as he was trying to defend. Engbers came out, dove to his right, but was able to get the save made with his feet. And that is definitely the best scoring opportunity of the afternoon for DC, coming off the boot of Alexis Chiritos. And down to my left, you see Michael Procopio heading back towards the locker room. So wonder if an illness or injury is the reason for his early departure from the match this afternoon. That ball just hitting a brick wall in the air of that wind and coming right back down for Toronto. One Cat takes a knock there, and he is down on all fours, holding his back right now. And DC is pushing forward. One Cat still down behind the play. Zakua. Getting direction from the bench is Carranza to kick it out of play. And down on the turf remains Glenn One Cat. He's holding his lower back. And we'll see an appearance from the Toronto training staff to take a look at the Toronto striker. One Cat has been one of the more dangerous players for Toronto through this opening half so far. Him and Ayo Akinola have been a formidable duo up front for Toronto so far. One Cat has had a couple of opportunities at goal, missed targets, but has been involved offensively. And this would certainly be a loss for Toronto if he's unable to continue. He's up to his feet now. Still holding the lower back as he's going to walk slowly to the sideline. No indication yet from the trainer whether a substitution will be needed. Indication appears that they will be able to get One Cat back into this match. Thrown in right back to DC as they were possessing before the injury stoppage. Here's Flanagan. Chiritos. Mandikic with pressure in the back and fails to connect with Zakua. Stepped up and delivered to Chiritos. He will work in. Batuli is back, and he is able to poke it free for his teammate Justin Thomas, who will just send it out to touch for a DC throw. And Wencat has checked back into the game for Toronto, so his back issue appears to be at bay for now. Here's Durkin for DC. Now Vaughn. Again Durkin. And once more Vaughn. Works towards the middle now for Carranza. Campbell. Flanagan. And unable to connect with Zakua. We're into the 32nd minute here. Still 1-0 Toronto. An own goal from Avion Flanagan in the 4th minute gives Toronto the lead. And we're going to substitution for DC here.
Exiting the match, number 27, Sir Felix Sandy. Entering the match, number 16, Edson Garon.
So Edison Garon is coming out, and Sir Felix Sandy is entering for DC. 27 in for 16 for the visitors. A little back heel flick there coming from Nicholas. Does not connect with his teammate, however.
Number 16, Edison Gairon, exiting, entering number 27, Sir Felix Sandy.
Comes down from Wencat. He pushes forward for Akinola. Akinola is offside. Flag is up. Referee indicating a improper free kick. Retaken by the keeper, Gio Diaz. Here's Mandikic. Durkin. Unable to find a teammate. 3 Toronto defenders in the area, not giving Durkin any room to operate. And it's out for a throw-in, taken by Toronto, and coming to Thomas. Mandikic. Deflected out off Toronto. Will be a DC throw. Chandler Vaughn throws in for DC. Toronto, as they have been frequently in this first half, able to win it back from DC. And this is an offside flag up on Casimir Zakua. Wind picking up here towards the end of the first half. It has been a little bit problematic for the players. Hasn't really led to any scoring opportunities or anything of that nature. Not much has, to be honest. Here's one perhaps for DC, And a little bit of a heavy touch there from Carranza. Sends it right on goal to Engbers. All told, it's been a little bit of a sleepy first half, to be perfectly frank. Not much created offensively either way. No sustained pressure from one side or the other. And we've seen 2 set pieces for Toronto and 1 corner kick from DC. It's an opportunity for Sakurai, but he is dispossessed. And moving quickly is Campbell. Now Chiritos up on the left side. That's Sandy, who is taken down. One Cat able to knife his way through. Pass for Akinola, takes a left turn, and will be taken by DC and just booted out down the pitch. Thrown in quickly to the keeper, Engbers. Thomas. So for DC, they will, in all likelihood, be down a goal heading into the break, and then they will have to work against the wind in the second half. A little bit of a daunting task for a team that has struggled to create offensively in this first half of play. Clyde Chela. Sakurai, back for Chela. Sakurai with some room to work. One Cat. Now Vituli. Sakurai. Caracciolo. Akinola. Akinola will stop, just deliver that right on goal, but with a bounce easily handled by Diaz. This played straight out of bounds by Campbell. And a yellow card given here to Michael Edwards. So the second booking of the first half for DC. The first going to Avian Flanagan, and this to Michael Edwards.
In the 39th minute by number 14 of DC United, number 14.
With just about 2 minutes to go before added time. Don't expect there will be a great deal of that. There's Thomas. Now Morissette. Pushed up on the left side for Kagramanian. He takes a tumble, and retaking the ball is Chandler Vaughn. Durkin. Now Sandy. Bodied off there by One Cat. One Cat will start back the other way. Good challenge there coming from Chiritos. And Flanagan unable to move forward as One Cat was able to take him off the ball as well. So good play there from Glenn One Cat. Good test for his sore lower back. And passing so far. And Sakurai not able to connect with Vituli. And DC will have an opportunity to throw in here. There's a strike, and it's just over the goal. That was Chris Durkin.
A minimum of 2 minutes has been added. 2 minutes has been
We have reached the 40 minutes of the first half. 2 minutes of added time awarded by the fourth official. Or announced by the fourth official, I should say. Mandikich. Back for Cella. And once again, the Toronto captain. Push forward, looking for Akinola, but it is headed away by Campbell and cleared by DC. Chela. Mandikich not able to get to that. And DC with perhaps one last attempt here to close out the first half. There's Sandy. Sandy into the area. Crossed in. And an attempted clear by Morissette. This will just sort of hang up in the air. And now headed forward by Manikic. Taken down by Carranza. And one cat will steal it. Chela back for Engbers. He will boot that, and it hits that wall of wind and pushes right back. And here comes DC. Carranza trying to break it free. Poked up there by Durkin, but it's right to goalkeeper Engbers. And nothing dangerous for DC. Looked like they were showing some spark offensively, but the Toronto defenders have been excellent at neutralizing that this afternoon. A little bit of a high kick there from Mandikic. And referee takes a look at his watch. This will likely be the last attempt of the first half. And there it is. That is the halftime whistle. A goal in the 4th minute, an own goal from DC is the only marker on the board thus far. It is Toronto FC 1, DC United 0 as we reach halftime. We will have the second half for you in a little over 10 minutes time as our coverage of the Generation Adidas Cup continues. We'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the Generation Adidas Cup, our final game of the tournament. Toronto and DC. Toronto leading 1-0 on an own goal by Avian Flanagan in the 4th minute. I'm Matt Antonio bringing you this afternoon's action. We've seen one change here at halftime for Toronto. It is Sean Hundal coming in for Andron Kagramanian.
Substitution for TFC, exiting the match, number 18, Andron Kagramanian. Entering the match, number 9, Sean Hundal.
So, both teams were a little sleepy, you could say, in the first half. It's Thanksgiving, however, perhaps a little turkey hangover for both sides. But not a lot created offensively, and with these windy conditions, the passes in the air have not been effective, and neither team has really seemed to key into that just yet, that the low, hard passes on the turf will be more effective this afternoon. That's booted up down the right side. Blocked by DC, and now they will control. Edwards gets it back again. Through the middle is Carranza. Chiritos not able to handle that, and it comes back for Vaughn. Edwards. Durkin. Again, Vaughn. Morissette. Able to free it back for Thomas. Akinola. Mandikic. Hundal. And a handball called here by the referee. It will be Toronto free kick from just outside the penalty area. This is their 3rd from roughly this distance. And it will be Kota Sakurai. He entered about halfway through that opening half. And with the tremendously windy conditions here today, makes this sort of attempt extremely difficult when put into the air. He will curl it, and it's just off the bar. Well struck by Kota Sakurai. That was just about all he could do, and the wind is blowing in that direction. It may have gotten caught up in there a little bit and not fallen into the net as quickly as Sakurai would have liked. Perhaps on a still day, that is a beautiful goal from Kota Sakurai, but for now, it is still 1-0 Toronto. This is kept in. Thomas will get it all the way back to his keeper, Engbers. Free kick awarded here to DC. Reminder, they are 2 40-minute halves. We are just underway here in the second half. And the intermission does not seem to have done much to awaken the pace of this game, as both teams still content to play mostly in midfield. Now we are down into the near the Toronto goal, but it is cleared out quickly. A good day to be a coach of the defensive side of the ball between these two teams. Here's Hundal. Hundal trying to push forward with some pace. Tries to find Wencat streaking down that right side. Wencat will try to run onto it, and he was, I think, trying to deflect it out off the DC player. Was unable to do so, and DC will control. There's Carranza. Nice sliding play there by Caracciolo, but it comes right to DC. Comes back for Durkin. Swung out to the left side for Sarfelix Sandy. Offside flag up. Carrying forward is Chela. One cat tries a one-touch there. Fails to connect with his teammate. And now it's Sandy pushing forward for DC. Sarfelix Sandy into the area. Crossed in. It's brought down by Nicholas. And here is Chiritos. DC still with it in a dangerous area, but it is now cleared, and that will be out for a DC throw-in. That is a good job there from Joseph Vatuli to get back and get to that before it went out past the end line, and would have been a corner kick. Here's Hundal trying to steer it away from Durkin. Played up, intended for Akinola. Here is Sakurai. Pass up from Wencat. Unable to get past Flanagan. Excellent defending there, and now poked up for Nicholas. An attempted long ball there, just hits that wall of wind and comes right back. And have to wonder at what point the coaching staffs just deliver the message to not even attempt that sort of play, as it's been highly ineffective for both sides here this afternoon. And it will be even more difficult for DC in the second half as they are going into that wind. And anything higher than maybe 10 feet in the air is just not going to get where you want it to go. Akinola is able to chest that down for Caracciolo. He was looking for one cat on the right side. Goalkeeper Diaz out of the goal now and is able to handle it coolly and send up Flanagan. Good defensive play there by Thomas, is able to poke the ball loose. Now Sandy. Pass for Chiritos misfires, and DC just not been sharp at all with their passes this afternoon. A lot of miscommunication and misexecution. And there's another one intercepted by Morissette. That's pushed forward by Vaughn, but Zakua unable to come onto that and catch a break here as it's out off Morissette. Substitution coming here for DC. It will be Gareth Green, number 17, entering, and coming out will be Andrew Nicholas. He has looked, I thought, pretty strong for DC so far this afternoon, perhaps even their most dangerous player, but his afternoon is done here in the early stages of the second half. And Green looking to make an immediate impact, but it is knocked away from him by Chela. There's an attempted low hard pass, but not hard enough to make it all the way to Caracciolo. That is deflected off Engbers. It's loose in the area. A sliding play made by Mandikic is able to steer it away. Good sliding challenge there from Vatuli, and it's out for a DC throw. That was nearly a great opportunity for DC as that cross went right off the stomach of Brogan Engbers and just took a ricochet right out into the middle of the area. One cat wins that loose ball battle. There's Hundal. Caracciolo. Played into the middle for Hundal. He has Zakanola with them as well, not able to deliver, and there is a foul on the Toronto player. There are 10 minutes into the second half, 50 minutes total played, half an hour still to go, and Toronto leads 1-0. We're going to see a pair of Toronto substitutions shortly. They've already made 2 so far this afternoon. Played in midfield. Good work by Durkin to evade a couple of defenders. Trying to send it up for Zakua. And able to work around Morissette. Zakua with a cross in. And the intended target there was Felix Sandy. Offside flag is up, however. Sandy missed the pass. And that's all for naught at this point, as the offside flag was up to negate that opportunity regardless. First substitution here is Jordan Faria entering for Armando Caracciolo, and the second is Josh Morera entering for Marco Mandikic. So Mandikic will hand off the captain's armband to Justin Thomas and head to the sidelines, where he will be relieved by Josh Morera. So 4 substitutions now used for Toronto.
Substitution in the 52nd minute by TFC. Exiting the match, number 10.
Thought Mandikic looked pretty strong today, as did Caracciolo. But Faria looked strong on Saturday in that win against Philadelphia, and will deliver some fresh legs off the bench and see if we can spark a second goal for Toronto. DC playing from behind, but they are a ricochet in the opposite direction away from still having been level at 0. The own goal coming from Avian Flanagan. He went back towards the middle of the goal to try and disrupt the pass, and it deflected off of him as he was trying to intercept it. And ricocheted into the goal, and that was all the scoring we have so far. That was back in the 4th minute. And it has been silent since then. And as mentioned, not a whole lot going offensively for either club through now 54 minutes. Sakurai up for Hundal. Those were the first 2 substitutions used by Toronto head coach Danny Dicchio this afternoon. There's a foul on Hundal. Free kick for DC. As the clock slowly starting to work against DC. Played in for Mwenkat. Morissette. Sakurai. Comes down for Faria. Will carry towards the middle of the field. Sakurai. Mwenkat. And that's Hundal with another takedown of the DC player. And being pulled back by the official. Wonderful to see a booking here, as it is the second time that we've seen a play like that in the last 5 minutes or so. No booking from the official, just a talking to. I imagine we'll see more drastic punishment should Hundal commit a 3rd violation. Pushed up the left side. Chiritos, good sliding challenge there from Vituli. Is able to win it back for Toronto. Now here's Faria. Faria with some open space at midfield. Taking down, good challenge there from Carranza. And Faria is down in some pain. And Toronto will likely try to, well, they're not going to push it out as Faria is up onto his feet. Here's Hundal with Akatola. Ayo Akatola working with some space, and he shoots it just wide of the goal.
Stop diving in. Hold your ground. A little more, Alexis. Come on. You have to come on the ball there. Stay high. Go. Looking deep. Hey, one of the forwards have to come on.
Here's Carranza through the middle looking for Chiritos. He will do battle with one cat, and that's out off of the Toronto number 11. And initially ruled to be a DC throw-in, but upon consultation with the fourth official, it will be a Toronto throw taken by Morissette. Akatola. And there's a foul on Michael Edwards, and could hear the referee saying, what did we talk about in the first half? So clearly this is not anything new coming from the referee to the DC defenders, and now Jose Carranza is over to have a word with the official. But this will be a free kick for Toronto. Two-man wall. Sakurai will curl it in, and it's punched out by Diaz. Good aggressive play there from the DC keeper. And this is straight out of bounds and will be a Toronto throw. It was a well-delivered ball by Kota Sakurai. Had a number of teammates in the area looking to get ahead to it, but Diaz came out with authority and decisiveness, and he was able to punch it away. And Diaz hasn't been really tested that much. The goal that went in, as mentioned, was an own goal. Nothing at all that he could have done in that situation. And it's just tough luck on him so far. There's Sakurai, and that will test Diaz. And it is an easy save for the DC keeper, but he had to make a move to his left, and he did so with good form and makes the save. Flanagan. Durkin, that is intercepted by Toronto. Akatola trying to work in. There's a strike from Faria, and that goes well wide. And Ayo Akinola, very upset with himself, as he's not happy with that first touch. That's nearly won back by Hundal as Green took a little bit of a slip. It's played up on the left side to Sandy. Felix Sandy. Good defending there coming from Morera and Vituli. And Vituli will run down this loose ball. That's a hard challenge there in the back from Luke Campbell. Winecat, or excuse me, that's Hundal on the far side of the field now, who's gone down. And there's a Toronto player down on the far side of the field. Not able to see the number of the Toronto player. We are 60 minutes gone here in this match. 20 minutes to go. Toronto still holding a 1-0 lead, and I think by process of elimination, that must be Joseph Vituli, number 14, who is down on the turf. Did not see what happened to the Toronto defender. He has been very strong this afternoon. He was a substitute in the second half on Saturday. Was strong in that game as well. Looks to be something involving his right leg as the training staff, the trainer, stretching that right leg out. Could be his knee. Still no indication from the trainer whether a substitute will be needed. But it will be Vituli walking slowly off to the far side of the field. And as mentioned, he is favoring that right leg. And now there is going to be a decision made on a substitution in short order. It's going to be number 2, Riley Ferrazzo, who is entering. So Vituli is done for the day with that injury on the far side of the field. As the 5th substitution and final substitution of the day for Toronto. They have just under 20 minutes to go here, holding on to a 1-0 advantage.
Substitution in this 62nd minute by TFC. Exiting the match, number 14, Joseph Vitullo. Entering the match, number 2, Riley Ferrazzo.
There's Faria. Trying to swing it all the way to the left side from Wencat, but it is disrupted by Vaughn. And now taken by Chiritos. Wind has died down a little bit, but that is still a difficult play to make. Headed forward by Vaughn. Green takes a bump there from Moreira. Ball bounces high into the air. A couple of DC players go up for it. It's headed forward, and a foul being called on Toronto here. There were 2 DC players. Michael Edwards was the one who got his head on it, but Sakurai committed the infraction and will give DC the free kick. Durkin taken down there, free kick, taken quickly by Edwards. Flanagan is the only goal scorer here this afternoon. Unfortunately for him, it was into his own goal, and that's all the offense we've seen. 1-0 Toronto. We're about 65 minutes in, with about 15 to go. We've only seen the 1 substitution from DC so far, and I have to wonder if at what point they will opt to use some more offensive firepower from the bench to push for an equalizing goal. They have drawn level in each of their previous 2 matches. 2-2 was the score in both of those contests against New England and Orlando City. They were victorious on penalties against New England, but were defeated by the same penalty process against Orlando on Saturday. Toronto has won both of their games by a score of 2-1. And almost right on cue, we do see a DC substitute coming to the scorer's table at midfield. And it's Jonathan Gaudet, number 9, who looks like he will be checking in shortly. Here's Wencat. Wencat pushing forward. There's a strike. Diaz punches it up and over the goal. And now he has a word for his defender, telling him to push forward and challenge a little bit more aggressively. He gave Glenn Wencat a lot of space to work with there. And he was able to get a right-footed strike away, and it was labeled for the top of the goal, but Gio Diaz was there to make the stop. This will be I believe this is the first corner of the afternoon for Toronto. And Sakurai will walk over slowly to take it. Sakurai delivers it in. Chela is up, trying to get ahead to it. There's a swing and a miss from Zakua on a clearing attempt. And Akinola is unable to get around a pair of defenders. Morissette and Chiritos. Morissette gets the leg up a little high for the liking of the referee. And we will see the substitution here. It is,
Substitution in the 67th minute by DC United.
as mentioned, Gaudet entering for Alexis Chiritos.
Entering the match, number 9, Jonathan Gaudet.
So Gaudet for Chiritos. This is the second DC substitution of the afternoon. Headed forward by Chela. Sakurai. Here's Hundal. Hundal. Sakurai. Again Hundal. He's able to spin away from a DC check. Played through the right side for Faria. He will look to get across, but it's going to be taken by Flanagan first. A good sliding challenge, and he pushes it forward to Chris Durkin. Durkin will spin back for Flanagan again. And now Luke Campbell. Chela. Sakurai. Morera. One cat. One cat will work towards the middle. One cat. Sakurai. Ferrazzo. Faria. Faria past one. That's right into the midsection of Durkin on that shot, but cleared by DC. Chela goes up with the head. Sakurai with the head as well. We'll get it back to Chela. And now Thomas.
Remember, you Sean, like this, even in attack. Don't be flat with him.
That's cleared out by Thomas and will be a DC throw. Will be a free kick here for DC. As once again, we have seen the play slow down considerably here. Injured Toronto player on the far side of the field is Riley Ferrazzo, as he will limp to the sideline. Ferrazzo has entered for Vituli, so the injury substitute now appears to have picked up a bit of a knock himself. Here's an opportunity for DC. They are still just one shot away from equalizing this game, and it certainly doesn't have that feel to it. But that is the reality. It's 1-0 Toronto, and DC can equalize at their next good scoring opportunity. It will be coming here. It's played in for Zakua, and the offside flag is up. The ball played in by Jose Carranza. Ferrazzo has re-entered the playing surface. The referee is walking over to him now to have a word with the right back. And with 10 minutes to play here, it's a yellow card to Riley Ferrazzo. Not sure what that was for. There's Sakurai. One cat. Sakurai. Played too long for Jordan Faria.
Caution in the 70th minute by TFC number 2. Caution the number 2.
Vaughn That pass for Zakua was no good, and Morissette will send it all the way up forward. Akinola is there involved in the play with Edwards, and I believe the free kick, actually I believe the offside flag went up there, so the free kick comes just outside the 18-yard box. Carranza, excuse me. Able to spin away from Wencat. Carranza still with it. Carranza up for Green. Gareth Green. On the left side is Flanagan. Flanagan working forward. Looking for an opportunity to cross in. He finds it. There's a deflection and a great save by Engbers. Deflected towards the goal by Felix Sandy. And Engbers was right there to gobble it up. And once again, Riley Ferrazzo is down to one leg. And the referee signaled for a substitution. The Toronto trainer will head to the far side of the field. Or maybe he was just signaling for the trainer. And I believe Toronto is out of substitutions. So they would be forced to play shorthanded, down a man for the remainder of this match. Just under 10 to go, but I imagine we will see a significant amount of injury time, as we've seen twice the trainer have to go take a look at a Toronto player. And will that open up an opportunity for DC to equalize? Toronto still leads 1-0. Goal came in the 4th minute, an own goal from Avian Flanagan. Here's Wencat. Toronto has been the more dangerous of the two teams, having better possession in the attacking third, but they have not been able to do much with it from that point. Morissette throws in for Akinola. Tug on the jersey coming from Michael Edwards, and he carried that tug for a good 5 yards, and he was whistled down for that, and will be a Toronto free kick. And Kota Sakurai, who is deliberate in most occasions, as we've seen over the last 2 games, will certainly have a slow pace to get to this one as the clock works in Toronto's favor. Has swung in by Sakurai. No Toronto player able to get ahead to it, and it's cleared by DC. An excellent team defending there will allow them to push forward. Stepping up is, I believe that was Moreira. And a little bit of a collision there as both players hit the ball at the same time. Ferrazzo still being attended to on the far side of the field. Looks like he's going to have a wrap put on his right knee. Sakurai. Near side for Mwencat. On this left sideline working down. Mwencat trying to work into the area. And nothing coming from the official. So DC will get the opportunity to push it forward. Here's Sandy. That first touch a little bit too hard. And that's an aggressive challenge by Sandy, and it will be a yellow card perhaps. That's Clyde Chela, who was on the receiving end of that, and it is going to be a yellow card indeed for Sandy, and now he will be pulled from the match. It is going to be Bryce Orsini. So Sandy, who came on in the middle of the first half, will not get the opportunity to finish it. And Orsini will enter for the final 5 minutes, plus stoppage time.
Caution in the 76th minute by DC United, number 27. Number 27.
Ferrazzo back on the pitch as well. He's got a wrap on that right leg, and he's still hobbling around a little bit. And is that something that DC will look to exploit? A hobbled defender on the right side of Toronto's back line. There's an opportunity, and it's a goal! An immediate impact from the substitute, Bryce Orsini. He's into the match, and he's on the score sheet, and DC have equalized. In the 77th minute, it's Bryce Orsini, who has been on the pitch for less than a minute.
77th minute by DC United, number 28, Bryce Orsini, number 28.
And was that opportunity created by the hobbled defender? And we see Moreira is hobbling around on that right foot as well. And it looks like they may have switched spots, Moreira and Ferrazzo, to allow a bit of a stronger play. The not having the hobbled defender be a liability, but now we see Moreira on the far side of the field is down as well. Referee will go over to have a chat with him as well, and probably encourage him to stand up and walk off the pitch. And so once again, Toronto will be temporarily down a man. And this trainer for Toronto has been busy in this second half. He's had to go the width of the pitch a couple of times. And the referee asking that the trainer go around the perimeter of the field to take a look at Moreira. This ball high in the air, coming right close to our vantage point. And that's taken by Vaughn, thrown in, and DC with a bit of momentum now. They've got the goal. They've got a man-up advantage. Here's Akinola. Knocked away from him by Michael Edwards. And it's going to be a corner for Sakurai. Sakurai swings it in, and this will be carried right out of play. We'll go for a goal kick. And DC will try to take it quickly now. Trying to take advantage of their numerical advantage right now. Toronto missing Josh Moreira, who is being hobbled by a foot injury, and he is down on the far side of the field. Could be a knee injury as well. The trainer out there working that right leg. So after he tried to help out Riley Ferrazzo with a little bit of a position switch, it looks like the same type of injury for Josh Moreira. And Toronto, out of substitutions, not able to get a healthy body on the field. Here's Faria. Faria working against Flanagan. Now Sakurai. One cat caught standing still a little bit there, and good defending from Vaughn as he races forward. And there's a ball played through, and it's an offside flag up on Jonathan Gaudette as he was looking to take the through ball there from Casimir Zakua. We are at our 80 minutes full time. Still waiting on a word from the fourth official for the length of injury time. Looks like it's going to be 4 minutes of added time. So 4 minutes for one of these teams to find an equalizer. And if none, or for one of these teams to find a go-ahead goal, I should say.
4 minutes has been added.
If no goal is scored in the next 4 minutes, we will go to penalty kicks. And that's something that DC is familiar with. They've played to penalty kicks twice previously in this tournament already. They were victorious against New England and were defeated by Orlando City. Toronto has won each of their games 2-1. They scored a 75th minute winner on Saturday against Philadelphia to secure that 2-1 scoreline. That's struck by Green. It was deflected, however, and easily handled by Engbers.
Jordan! Jordan!
1 minute of the added 4 has elapsed. DC in possession. They have turned up the heat a little bit on Toronto since scoring the equalizer.
Come on, Koda!
And right now they're trying to take advantage of a Toronto side that is a player short. Here's Green. Green looking to cross in. He was able to do so, but Chela is there to send it out. This is played in. It comes down. There's an opportunity for Zakua. There's a strike and a goal! And what a celebration from Kazimir Zakua. It's an injury time goal for DC. They're second in the last 5 minutes, and they have taken a 2-1 lead over Toronto. About 90 seconds to go here. DC has pulled ahead, and could hear the instruction, very vocal, from the captain of DC, Jose Carranza, saying everybody stays back, as Toronto will be pushing for an equalizer in the final 90 seconds. And if my counting here is correct, Toronto is actually down 2 players. I don't see Riley Ferrazzo on the field either. So Toronto with 9 men right now, and DC at full strength, able to exploit that and get a go-ahead goal. And will it be a winning goal? There's Zakua playing forward for Godet. Offside flag up. We have reached the end of the 4 minutes, but I imagine there will be a little bit added onto that to account for the goal and subsequent brief celebration. And there it is. That's the full-time whistle. DC storms back with a late goal and an injury time goal, and they snatch a victory away from Toronto. It's a 2-1 victory. It's DC's first victory of the tournament. Toronto handed their first loss, their only loss of the 3 games. And what a exciting finish we had here at the Kia Training Grounds at Downsview Park, as DC comes back to stun Toronto with a 2-1 victory and earn their first and only victory of the tournament. They will go home undefeated with a win and 2 draws. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, not only today, but throughout the weekend. Our coverage Friday and Saturday as well of this Generation Adidas Cup. I'm Matt Nicolantonio. Thank you for joining us, everyone, and have an excellent Thanksgiving Monday.